Good morning, everybody. This is going to be my Christmas present to you and the nation. There is a Christmas present I'm going to give you. It's the heart and soul of the United States of America. But before I get to what I'm actually talking about, let me start off. Our forefathers brought forth on this nation a new fledgling country that had something no other nation in the world had. A heart and soul. A government that real, a government that trusted in God, a government that had a heart and soul. For you people who don't want to believe in God, that's your business. But this is what our forefathers did. Whether you want to admit to it or not, I really don't care. A nation that had a heart and soul. The Constitution wasn't written in just 1 year, a couple of days, and not by one person or even a small group. It was written by various people from many classes of life within this nation. And in the Constitution, they put something that was beyond anything ever found in a nation that existed on the earth. They put the heart and soul into a nation of its people. Now, as time went on, the United States made very, very many mistakes. They stumbled. Think of your children. How many of them live a perfect life? Well, the United States is not perfect. The Constitution does not say a perfect. It says a more perfect, which means it makes mistakes. And one of the biggest mistakes it made was slavery. And the price we paid to abolish it was probably the most terrible price this nation ever paid. But you don't realize it. Abraham Lincoln did something that put a dagger into the heart and soul of this nation. He drove a knife so deep into the heart and soul in one small act. Just like any stabbing, it was quick and it was direct. It was called the income tax. That's right. Now, after they didn't need it no more, they eventually got rid of it for a while, because it was just to fund the Civil War. But it set precedents. Now remember what I've said about when you do something, the worst that you do is what you are. Our present day government, for the people of this nation, is doing everything it can to rip out the heart and soul of this nation. They disguise it in political correctness. They disguise it as times this, that, etc. I mean, an example is the don't ask, don't tell. That law did nothing more than say either you shut up about it or we kick you out. Is that accepting a person? No. Prior to that, it was left up to the CEO of the base. He didn't kick people out just because they were gay. Now, if they did something major wrong, they were kicked out. If they did something that was a problem, they were kicked out for the problem that they did, not because they were sexually a little different. But people couldn't understand that. So the Democrats come up with the don't ask, don't tell, which forced the military to kick you out. Finally, they got rid of the evil that they put there, but they still drive a dagger very deep into this country, destroying everything that this country was founded on. And it's actually called the IRS and the income tax. You want to see something that is worse than any loan shark in any criminal element? Look at the IRS. It goes after you more deadlier, more vicious, and with so much evil that if there was any compassion left in the United States, it is totally gone. A holding off your back, it doesn't matter. So what has our country become? The IRS describes it. What the IRS is what the United States is to its people. Not a pretty picture. That income tax has driven that dagger so deep in and is cutting out the heart and soul of this country. It is the greatest evil that was ever brought into this nation. And what makes it worse is there's no soul in Congress, no heart. They see the American people as nothing more than an open bank. And all they need to do is raise the taxes, raise the taxes, raise the taxes to cover their expenses. There's no heart there. There's no soul. Money, greed, greed, greed. Our Congress, our government is no better than these CEOs that got these multi-million-dollar bonuses for working on failed companies. You may not understand this, but if I do nothing else as president, I'm going to remove the dagger out of the heart and soul and change the priorities of this nation. It's not going to be the world, the world, the world. Our first and foremost priority, probably the most important, which you people think should be eliminated, which I totally disagree, is the Department of Education. To see how we can improve the education of our people, of our nation, of our children. Under that will come their health and welfare. Under that will come their education. They will be given the tools they need. That will be probably the biggest expense in our budget. Yes. Then also will be our Department of Defense. The security of the nation will become a priority. And the defense and the interests of the United States will become number one. Not the interests of governmental forcing its beliefs onto others. The interests that the American people, that's our interest. To give you a safe, secure home that you know will be yours and there for your children. We will pay off our debt. Sorry, I don't believe in bankruptcy. But we're not going to do it the way the present government is doing it. It will be done. We will pay off our debt. Some of it will be cutting back on things. Unfortunately, the first thing that's ever cut back when you can't afford to live is charity. Wasting our money on nations that don't deserve to be wasted on will be reduced. Wasting our money on failed causes. I mean, I watched the news last night, the Ivory Coast, the nation. The UN can't even function there. The people voted their government, and what do? They got them locked up in a hotel. And the UN really can't even protect them. No, this New World Order isn't going to work because it hasn't. It's just a continuation of the greed of the world. Greed which was not part of our nation, but the income tax enabled it to come into our government. The stealing of you, the American people, the fleecing. No, it needs to change. I will somehow, some way, when I become elected president, remove that dagger from the heart and soul of our Constitution. Congress will start to have to realize their responsibility to the American people. It will be done from the very first day I get inaugurated. Congress, no. The income tax will go. It's the most heartless, ruthless governmental department that ever existed on this earth. It falls in the very same category as the German SS, and nothing less. And it cannot be allowed to continue to have that dagger inside our Constitution, only killing the heart and soul of our government. And if you don't believe what I say, just check on how many times the IRS has gone in and destroyed everything anybody has ever tried to build because of back taxes, interest, and fines. They make a loan shark look like an amateur. They legally do what is totally against the law. I will somehow, some way, remove that dagger from our nation. And yes, our nation will once again start on the path in which our forefathers brought onto this world. A nation that believed in its people and thrived to ensure that the people of the nation come before anything else in the whole wide world. And that is my Christmas present that I will give to each and every one of you out there. As president, I will give you back your nation that will care for you more than anything else in the whole world. That dagger will be removed from the heart and soul of this nation. And you'll be able to say, with the grace of God, we go on. Thank you. This is JD. Have a nice night and Merry Christmas.